We're speaking today about changing habits and patterns. And I think this is, obviously something that is really potent time to talk about this. This is the new year. We're all setting our intentions for the new year. We're setting our goals, we're setting our mindset, and we're looking at our habits and our patterns, and we're reflecting on the last year, and we're getting ready to move forward into the next phase of our lives, into this next revolution around the sun, this time for revolution. I think it's really important to remember what the word revolution means, and how when we're talking about New Year's and we're talking about birthdays and we're talking about going around the sun, this idea of revolution can come up, and we can even just feel it with all the changes that are happening in our society and in our government and everything. So we have New Year's as this time of resetting and of really cultivating a new energy. And the first thing that we really should acknowledge is that this time of year is a really strange time of year to start setting goals. The Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, makes a lot more sense as far as a way to set goals, because it's in the springtime. When we just look at the cycles of the seasons, we know that this is literally the dead of winter. This is when everything should be sleeping, resting, cultivating a higher energy. And we have a really big push of commercialism during this time. I was talking to someone and they were like, yeah, we would all be probably like hibernating a little bit, but there's this whole commercial holiday to keep us spending and keep us active and keep us working during the winter, when, normally that would not be the case. Normally we would be in our homes, creating crafts for each other, just enjoying our lives and resting. But instead, we've got a very active culture in the winter, and in the dead of winter, and when it's the coldest and the darkest, we're setting goals for our new year, and we're saying, oh, I really want to get motivated. So I just want to say, like, timing wise, the new year is a really strange time to start evaluating your goals and your patterns and your habits. And I think it's really important to be gentle with yourself during this time, and to realize that this is not a time of action so much as it's a time of dreaming. So if you can cultivate this idea of, like, how is it that you want to feel during the new year, rather than what are all the things you're going to do, I think you're going to be in a much better place. And then, there's a lot of studies about what successful people, the Protestant work ethic, this capitalist energy of keeping ourselves active and busy and creating product. We're all a little bit addicted to that. And if you get off that way, I love to be productive personally. If that's something that you also love, then keeping lists is a helpful thing. In UniPlanner, we have long-term lists and short-term lists and goals, and we do year-long goals that you can write down for the whole year, and that's here. I've got some that I've created in my UniPlanner, of buying property for Uniacres, release a new album, keep up a daily exercise and habit, pretty simple things that I already know I'm going to do. And then what's really more powerful too, though, is these shorter term goals. So we have goals for each month as well. I would recommend, if you're using UniPlanner, to do those goal setting activities. And also, if you're not doing it by the month, you can do it by the season or by the quarter, if you're thinking like a business person. So setting your goals regularly, and setting your goals like right now, is going to feel a lot different than setting your goals in the Lunar New Year, in the Chinese New Year, in the springtime, when the world is actually waking up and action is actually starting to be something that is an energy that is actually something that you can connect to a lot clearer and a lot stronger. So as far as changing your habits and patterns, notice the seasons, notice the timing, notice the energy that you have in your body, notice the energy that the people around you have. We're all one, we're all working together to create these different energies and these different patterns, because we're all connected to the energy that is existing. Like, you can create an energy that is different than the energy that's all around you. But it's a lot easier if you're working in harmony with the seasons, you're working in harmony with your community. So it is a weird time to set goals, and I think the most interesting thing that we really want to analyze is why we want to change our lives. We're going to go into this idea of desire and the idea of making our lives better. This is a very, new age spiritual self-healing growth path that we're on, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that is and why it's so intense to desire to create these new patterns and how they're difficult. But before we even begin talking about these new patterns and these new habits and all these ways we're going to be successful and all these things we're going to manifest and all these activities we're going to do, the first thing I think that we can do is realize that there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to change. We are perfect in our moment. This is something that is easy to say but hard to feel. And I think one of the first times I really did feel it was on acid. And I've only done acid like 3 times, right? It's like, you don't need to do acid a bunch of times to learn these things. You don't even need to do it to learn it. But what drugs like psychedelics do is give you the opportunity to feel these truths. So if you're someone who's studying spirituality, sometimes psychedelics can help you really feel these truths. So I was on acid and I was painting a picture, and I saw how every brush stroke was, creating a different painting. I could stop at any moment and it would be a different painting than if I kept going. And my idea of the painting being complete was only one instance of the painting being complete, because the painting was always complete, even as a blank canvas. Everything that's happening is a culmination of every energy that has ever affected it. Every moment is the pinnacle of experience. And so we get trapped in this idea that, if I get better and I get more healed and I get more this and I get more organized and I get more disciplined, like I'll get to this point and this place. But we have to acknowledge that we are already here. And everything is perfect in this exact moment. Like the longing and the desire and the past and the present and the future are all interacting in this really grand, magnificent way of this present moment. And the reason why it's so important to acknowledge the present moment is because it is the most data-rich experience that you can have. What is perception? Perception is internalizing data. If you're thinking in the future, you're thinking in the past, you're getting a dulled down version of reality. If you're lost in the phone screen and you're like projecting yourself into the digital realm, you're not experiencing the mass amounts of data that are available to your consciousness in this present moment. So a lot of people talk about be here now. The Unicult version of that is just to appreciate the rich sensory data that is available to you in this moment. There is nothing to forgive. We're always trying to strive to be better. A lot of it I think comes from insecurity. Our parents weren't healed. We're coming from this really dark era. And so a lot of times we want to change ourselves to feel worthy. So ask yourself, why do I want to change? What is the goal here? And what is the deeper child self need that is hurting that I want to manifest into something different? I want to blossom and grow. And why do I want to change this thing? Then realize I'm already worthy. I'm already there. Everything's perfect. Everything's fine. But then people like me are like, what? I'm not just going to stop moving forward. I'm not just going to stop growing. I'm addicted to progress. I love progress. I love productivity. I love changing things. I love getting things. I love growing. I love expanding. It's a very masculine desire to expand and to grow and to reach out into the world. If you have a lot of masculine energy, you get to balance this feminine resting, this divine feminine resting and internalizing and being one with the universe and connecting your internal state to the fact that everything is already profoundly perfect, and also balancing it with that masculine energy, the divine masculine energy of going out and of creating. So we have this divine masculine desire, and this has nothing to do with gender, it has nothing to do with sex. These are just opposing, dualistic energies that actually, when we have a higher view, are a singular energy. We won't go into that today because I don't know how to describe it, but what is desire? I've done a few sermons. I used to have this sexy sermon. I did like 2 sexy sermons in my life, but one of them was about desire and the role of desire, and realizing that desire is this holy state. Desire is what propels us forward into the future. And if you're sitting here not desiring anything, that's akin to death, right? Like literally that's like non-movement, that's non-action. And there's a balance of having the action be internal and having the action be external, and being at peace with whatever the action is. There's always things happening, right? But desire is a holy energy, and a lot of religions demonize desire, and they, call it this negative thing, but desire is what creates life. Desire is what creates progression. Desire is what creates expansion. Desire is a beautiful and holy thing. So we're balancing this beautiful, holy desire, this expansion, with this calm, peaceful, internal acceptance of the present moment. There are 2 faces to desire. The first face is an ego face. It's the egoic face of desire. And it's when you have an ego desire, your ego desire is this unquenchable, consuming desire. It's this feeling that no matter what you do, you're never going to get there. And I suffer from this. I have a severe amount of ambition inside my body, which ambition is just another version of desire. And if it's an ego-based desire, it will feel horrible inside your body, and you will feel unsettled, and you will feel uncomfortable. The other side of desire is cosmic knowing. And really this does come down to, do you feel deserving of what you deserve? Do you feel deserving of the blessings of the spirit of uni? Do you feel deserving to receive the grand, beautiful gifts that are being given to you every day in the form of opportunity and experience? Once you are able to accept, and this is a long journey, I acknowledge, accept and embrace the fact that you deserve all the blessings you desire, your desire will change from an egoic, unquenchable, uncomfortable pain into a cosmic knowing that you will get the things that you deserve, and that you are the person you're meant to be, and that everything is aligned, and that everything is perfect. And the only way you can really get there is through surrender to the divine. You cannot carry an ego reality and say, I'm the one who's going to make all these things happen. Unfortunately, we don't have as much power as our ego likes to believe. We are working in collaboration with the greatest power in the universe, the divine energies. And it's through those divine energies that we do everything. Even when we think we're doing it on our own, we're actually channeling divine energies into our body in order to accomplish the things that we're accomplishing. The easiest way to accomplish your desires and to change your habits is to allow the divine energy to lead your life. Allow the divine energy to show you the way. Allow your ego to die when things don't work out the way that you envision them to. And trust that the universe has greater plans for you than you could ever imagine. The cycle that happens is that, I can talk in the first person for this, okay? If you start from a place of feeling undeserving and you're like, I don't deserve the gifts of the universe, then you're fighting against the universe and you're trying to create circumstances that prove your worth. And you say, well, if I get this job and I get this husband and I get this thing, then I'll know I'm deserving. But then the universe doesn't give you those things because you deserve so much more than you can even imagine. And you have to just simply let go of all of your ego desires, simply. Let go of all of your ego desires and accept that what the universe is giving you is what you truly deserve, and that is the biggest, fullest blessing, more than you can ever imagine. The spirit of uni knows you, knows love, knows your life. You are in harmony. The more you can tune into that harmony, the easier it will be. The belief that you are deserving or not is really at the root of the ego. The ego thinks that we're not deserving, so the ego is fighting and fighting to try to prove that something is happening, but the more you fight against it, the more you just create that reality. When you're trying to change old habits and you desire to change your life, you have to understand that the reason why you have the habits that you have is because they have served you. There's a really good quote that I love about addiction that says, addiction is a real attempt to solve a real problem. And I saw a TikTok as well that is saying eating a bag of chips is a tool to emotionally regulate. Scrolling online is a tool to help you emotionally regulate. You know, there are these tools that we have, addictive energies of, drugs, food, media, whatever it is, that we use to numb out and to regulate, to help regulate our emotional states. And they work. To a certain degree, they work. That's why we do them. So you have to acknowledge that your bad habits or these patterns that you have because you haven't had any better tools to solve your problems, to meet your needs. So acknowledging, like, really what we're talking about in this sermon is about accepting where you're at and really feeling comfortable and acknowledging and just really accepting yourself and accepting your life for where we are in our lives currently. It is perfect. You are seriously exactly where you need to be. There is no other place you could possibly be than right here, right now, and that is a beautiful and perfect thing. And also, the desire to change those circumstances is also holy and divine. You didn't know better. You didn't have better habits to create better systems of serving your needs. And so you're in these old patterns. And also, sometimes your old habits and your old patterns and your old life are existing because the cosmic plan is bigger than your ego. Sometimes I look at my life and I'm like, why am I not where I envision myself to be? And I think it must be my fault. I must not be like doing the right habits, and I really have to like punish myself in order to try to like get to this other space, and I have to work harder, and I have to save more money, and I have to get online more and tell everybody to donate so we can get Uniacres. Like, why you have to acknowledge that's not alignment. That's fear, that's ego, that's detrimental energy toward yourself. So whatever you're taking on, and you're like, really, if you're like, the energy that you're trying to change your habits in matters. So your old habits, your old patterns, your old life is serving you either in a way because you haven't developed better, like, loving, more unconditionally loving habits that actually support you, or because the universe is just preparing you for an expansion and you get to still experience the energy that you're currently in. There's a song by the Books that says, enjoy your worries, you may never have them again. It's so easy to be like, my life is just but usually, what do you have now that you used to want? Think of how many blessings, like if you could jump 5 or 10 years from the past into your current circumstances, most of us would be very surprised and very happy to see how our lives are turning out, especially those of us who are dedicated to growth. And if you don't feel that way, then start being dedicated to expansion and growth and health, and it'll be true for 5 years in the future. And if you could jump 5 years into your future, you will be mind blown at the blessings and the beauty that surround you. So just, relax. Just relax. Creating new patterns is intense and unprecedented. I was thinking about this historically. Our ancestors never did this. What are we doing right now? We're literally entering into a new cosmic age. The sun is activating us. We're taking all of our ancestral patterns and we're taking on the energy and we're healing it. We're breaking our patterns. We're breaking our addictions. So many of you went home for the holidays and confronted your family dynamic with new energy, and you felt the shift. This is unprecedented. This is like, the indigenous cultures were very healthy in the past. They understood the balance and they understood healing. But they moved out of that health into trauma because of colonialism and the patriarchy and capitalism and everything, right? So we've had this transition from health into illness, but we haven't had a collective movement from illness into health ever in recorded history. So what we're doing is extremely difficult because we don't have the genetic energy or the cosmic, astral pattern to draw from. If you're alive right now and you're healing your family lineage, you're doing new work. Like, we're the new Lewis and Carroll. We're exploring, like, we're way cooler than anybody going into space. This is uncharted territory. This is hardcore, unmapped quest into health, into true health. So we're developing new consciousness technologies. All of these things that we teach in Unicole, all of the new age stuff, meditation, all these things are ancient practices, but we're using them in new ways to actually take back our power and heal our families, heal our societies, heal ourselves, and heal our lineages. How do we do all this? How do we heal all these things that we're, how do you feel traumatized and then go from a traumatized state and see that your family has been traumatized and their parents have been traumatized, and it goes back and on and on? How do you start from that traumatized space and heal? And there are so many different ideas about how you can do this and how you can change your patterns and change your habits. And I think it really does come down to something that's very simple. It's two things: focused awareness and unconditional love. Most of our problems are because we repress energy, because we don't want to acknowledge it, we don't want to feel it, we don't want to be it. We're ashamed, we're uncomfortable, it's distressing, and because it's so painful and so distressing to be in this energy, we try to shove it away. But we're all one. And so any energy that we're putting so much energy on shoving away is actually just growing its power, and we're pretending like it doesn't exist. When you sit in awareness, in calm, peaceful, unconditionally loving awareness, and you just look at your life and you just look at the feelings you don't want to feel. You look at the circumstances you don't want to be true, and you just accept them and you validate them and you say, yeah, I am uncomfortable right now. Yeah, I am agitated right now. And just let that agitation come into your body and know that it will change and transform as you let it come into your body. Know that it will magnetize into, like alchemize into, a completely different feeling in a matter of minutes. This doesn't happen if you fight it. It only happens if you sit and feel it. And what does it mean to feel it? I over-intellectualize emotions. I know a lot of people do. So I'm not saying sit there and be like, I'm so anxious. Oh, everything's bad. That's not awareness. That's being lost in the emotion. The awareness is, oh, I'm anxious right now. How does that feel in my body? My stomach feels tight. I feel kind of queasy. My energy feels all wobbly. Just feel your body. Feel your energy. And just notice it. And love yourself. Love the person who's going through it. Love the energy. Usually emotions are messengers. When we bring this awareness, we can see why old patterns exist. We're bringing the awareness of why we are the way we are, why we're in the circumstances we're currently in. And part of it is our own responsibility, and part of it is just divine circumstances. If you're a young person and you're still living with your parents, how much responsibility how much responsibility can you possibly take, for your energetic body? But as you grow up, And as you get more autonomy and as you get more tools, you can start changing your vibration no matter where you come from, no matter what kind of vibrational family you come from. So there is a strong reason why your patterns exist and why your energy body is the way it is. And then what we want to do with this awareness is to nurture the part of ourselves who needs these old patterns. Who is for me, what is the part of me that uses sex and love addiction to meet my needs? What is the part of me that felt so desperate for love that I was always chasing it, that it was my number one obsession? That part of me deserves to be nourished in a healthy way. So as you're healing your patterns and your addictions, you can take this awareness and this unconditional love and apply it to your child self, this part of you that developed these coping mechanisms, this part of you that developed these techniques for navigating the world based on what you were told by society and by your parents and by the resources that you had, and sit in awareness and unconditional love for this part of yourself that didn't know how to meet your needs in any other way. After you can do that, then you can just start envisioning your success. You don't need to sit there and think, well, how am I going to lose this weight? Or how am I going to get $1 million? Or how am I going to get married? Or whatever your goals are, right? You don't have to worry about that. Just relax your nervous system. This is really important because this is your electromagnetic body. Your electromagnetic energy is actually what's magnetizing reality to you at all times. And that's where we really do have power. That's where we really do have control over the simulation. Bringing in divine energy and relaxing your nervous system, and then simply envisioning what you want. How would it look? How would it feel to have all the things that you want? There are a few different tools you can use. The first one I want to recommend is the Violet Flame. This is from the I Am Saint Germain cult. As you relax your nervous system, as you relax yourself, sitting in meditation, I recommend everybody meditate for at least 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's not that long. Just sit in quiet meditation and relax your energy. And allow the violet flame to come up around your body. And what the violet flame does is it eradicates all discordant energy in your body. It just disintegrates it. And you just say, I don't want any more discordant energy in my body. I don't want any more discordant energy in my life. I want only harmony. And you use the violet flame to align yourself with harmony. And harmony is the goal. Internal harmony and peace is the greatest gift you'll ever get. You can also use waking up in new timelines to change your patterns. So you can go to sleep and you can say, I intend to wake up in the best timeline. You can also be more specific. You can say, I want to wake up in the timeline where money is flowing to me. Notice how different it is to say, I want to wake up in the timeline where money is flowing to me versus I want to wake up in the timeline where I'm a millionaire. Even better, I want to wake up in the timeline where I feel like a millionaire, where I feel like I have unlimited abundance, where I feel like I have all of my needs met. When you get it down to the feeling state, you're actually manifesting. The physical world isn't real. Money isn't real. So when you say $1 million, that means nothing unless you add the feeling state into it. So you can go to sleep, you can wake up, you can set your intention. I want to wake up in a timeline where I feel unlimited abundance. You're going to change your life if you do that every night before bed. Prayer and connecting to something higher, connecting to your higher self. I've been doing this practice that has been transforming the heck out of my life, the heaven out of my life, transforming my life into heaven. And this is something that has a couple different names, but I've heard it called two-way prayer. And it's also discussed in A Course in Miracles, where when you're in meditation, you invite divinity. In the Course in Miracles, they call it God. You invite God, you invite the spirit of uni, you invite whatever your vision of something higher is into your conscious perceiving state. This is really important because as you allow the divine to come into your conscious perceiving feeling state, you can then show the divine, God, whoever, your life. So every day I sit in meditation and I invite the spirit of uni into my consciousness and I say, look at my life. Here's a mess I don't know how to fix. Here's a feeling I don't know what to do with. Here's a financial situation I don't know how I'm going to pay for. What would you have me do? And you ask the spirit of Uni, what would you have me do? And you can always get an answer. As you invite the spirit of Uni or the divine into your conscious perceiving state, you then become a collaborator, a co-creator with the most powerful energy that exists. And there's nothing more powerful than that. As you go through your day, you can just call to the light and you can just say, divine energy, please come into my reality and help me shift my patterns. Imagining where you want to be emotionally, energetically, spiritually every day, and aligning your energy with that is going to do more for you than any determined routine where you punish yourself. Life can be easy. You can relax. Life can be fun. Changing your patterns and becoming your fullest self can be a rewarding, relaxing, enriching reality. And I think the more we are able to relax into what we truly deserve, which is the greatest thing we can imagine feeling, the more easily it can come to us. So if you have your Uni Planner, you're going to have, for the classic version, you have your Cam Church section, and you can take notes here, and then you can write any ideas you have here. And then, so to focus on this week, I'm going to recommend that you keep a written record of your feelings, and instead of judging them or trying to change them, just send them unconditional love and hold that energy for as long as possible. So write down the written record of your feelings and just look at them. Like, what are your most difficult feelings? And then just feel the awareness and unconditional love and hold that awareness and feeling in your physical body. What does it feel like in my energy body? What does it feel like in my physical body? Try not to over intellectualize your feelings, but just feel them. And do that for as long as you can. And you will see very quickly, I'm talking like matter of seconds, matter of minutes, the feeling that you're carrying is going to transform. And you're going to see a really different perception when you do this. So call to the divine too. If you're having trouble, ask the divine to help you out. This is a free will zone. You're allowed to do whatever you want. I recommend calling to the divine. Thank you all so much for joining me for Cam Church. Again, if you're in UNICULT, you can come into the server. We will do a quick audio update for the last year and kind of what we're excited about for the next year for the address to the cult. And if you're not already in UNICULT, do consider joining. We're a really great organization, and when you align your energy with UNICULT, you're aligning your energy with Unitopian future, where we are all supported and we are all deserved. Thank you, Dr. Quack. I appreciate that comment. Hotter than Barbarella. It's not a competition, but you can call 1-833-UNICULT to speak to UNICULT members if you have any questions. Thank you, Erin. Join UNICULT today. You need less. You need less. Thank you all for being here.